Welcome back to the Cap Rack. My name is Tyler Blumenstick, joined by Sam Meehan. It is Wednesday, December 16th. We have 3 games today from our Caps on Sports college basketball model. What do you got today, Sam? How are you on this fine Wednesday morning?
Oh, it's a nice cold day here. Got some snow coming in. Ready to watch basketball and relax all day.
It's all you can do
Get
on a
some
work from home
winners.
Wednesday.
hmm
Um, so just a quick little update on the model. We have 62 games logged right now, so we're getting the data up. The model against the spread is 35 and 27 for 56.5%. Against the total, it's 33 and 29, 53.2%. So just a little kind of way that we do this is I'll just log games. I'll put them in the model. Whether we put it out as a pick in the blog or like against the spread of the total, the model is going to put a record in or a result in for the spread and the total, regardless of what got put out. So that's it. We just want to collect data. But today we have 3 picks for you on the Toledo versus Marshall game at 6, on the Pittsburgh Miami game at 6, and then on the Duke Notre Dame game at 9 o'clock. So let's kick it off with the Toledo Marshall game. The spread is Marshall minus 6.5, which is a little surprising to me. The total was set at 150. The model is projecting a 71-68 Marshall win. So given that the spread is 6.5, we like Toledo. What do you got?
Yeah, Toledo is a very good three-point shooting team,
Yep.
and Marshall struggles defending that. So that for me is enough to lean towards Toledo plus 6, 6.5, 7 even, whatever you're gonna get.
Totally.
And I always see like these, like mid-major teams like early on in the season, like they're going to compete because they know they need as many big wins as possible to make the tournament end of the year. So you're going to see like a fiery Toledo team, even though it's only their 8th game of the season. A win over a currently undefeated Marshall team can go a long way come Selection Sunday.
Exactly. I mean, you mentioned that they have 7 games under their belt. It's going to be their 8th game. That's a lot of games right now. I mean, compared to teams that haven't really played much,
Yeah,
whether it's
we have Butler
cancellations.
who's played 1 game so far.
There are some teams that have none. Like I'm trying to run model projections for these teams. Like even as soon as last night, we tried to run models, and you don't have 2020 stats for these teams. But just on Toledo a little bit, they've played those 7 games. They're 5-2 against the spread. Marshall's 3-0-1 against the spread. I just like this scrappy Toledo team. The only reason I think the spread is the way it is because Marshall is returning a lot of guys to their roster. They have about 78 to 80% of their minutes returning back with the same players in the same position. So with a 71-68 Marshall win, we project a 6.5 point play on the Toledo spread. So let's move on to the next game for Pittsburgh against Miami. Pittsburgh are 2-point road favorites against Miami, which is a little surprising because I don't feel like Pittsburgh should be a road favorite against anybody. They're doing okay this year. I mean, they are 4-1. They're 3-2 against the spread. They lost opening day against St. Francis and then have beaten Drexel, Northern Illinois, Northwestern, and Gardner-Webb since. What do you have on this game?
Yeah, so really with Pittsburgh, Northwestern's a good win, but other than that, nothing too impressive. And Miami with that big comeback win against Purdue. I mean, Purdue is always a
You
good
like that?
team. You'll have to see that. And I mean, my main concern with Miami is just, that first half against Purdue where they just couldn't score. But, then the second half they turn around and they're able to lock it down. So I do like Miami defensively, and I like them as a home dog, +2 money line. Just I think they can do enough defensively to you know make life uncomfortable for Pittsburgh and cause some turnovers, get in transition, and you know it should be a good game.
It should be. I mean,
Definitely.
you mentioned the Purdue game where they came back. They were without Chris Lakes for that one. He's their
hmm
best player, their point guard. So when he comes back, which is, I mean, he's expected to play today, so should be good. Get some offense out of Miami, some leadership from the point guard position. But as far as the model for this one, it's projecting a 70-63.5 Miami win. So I mean, as 2-point dogs, might as well smash that on the money
Yeah,
or on the spread, possibly the money line. So
yeah. I'm myself probably gonna do a little money line too, but
you might as
love
well.
them +2.
Exactly. All right, so for our final game of the day, we're going to move on to Duke visiting Notre Dame. That game is at 9 o'clock tonight. We have Duke as 4-point favorites, and the total is set at 146. As for the model, a little bit of a shocker, but we're
Yeah,
going to
this
ride with it.
one was a little surprising to
We're
see,
going to
but
trust
I'm
the
very
model.
happy about it.
So let me preface this with a couple stats real quick. So when the total is, or when the spread is within 4 or 2.5 and 4, and we bet the underdog, the model is 4-2 so far. So we're converting at a pretty good clip. So now that you know that little piece of information, we're going to tell you that the model projects an 80-64 Notre Dame win at home today against Big Bad Duke. I don't know if the score is necessarily going to be accurate, but Notre Dame has played very good basketball so far this year. They have a win over Kentucky. They lost to Ohio State. They have a loss against Michigan State, but they're playing good competition. Notre Dame
the
has
two
looked
losses
good.
are two very good basketball teams.
Well, they punched Kentucky in the mouth off the rip this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh, yeah.
look, they're starting to figure it out. I really, 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 really like the way that team is coached. And Duke is not necessarily impressing me. Even if this game isn't a 15-point Notre Dame win, which I really highly doubt it is, but
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad.
I think 5 points at home with Notre Dame is a good way to go here because Duke's got to go on the road and win a game against a very good team. I think Notre Dame can win this outright.
That spread of 4 or 5 points that we're seeing, that's not to this current Duke team. That's just the whole Duke name in general, I feel like.
I would agree.
Like, this team doesn't really have that guy that can go get a bucket for you, and they turn the ball over like crazy. The team's a mess right now. I mean, I'm sure Coach K will, get them somewhat ready come March, but, this team is still figuring it out who they are. So I do love Notre Dame tonight. I think they're the more experienced and just right now, I think this is the better team.
Totally. No,
overall,
I agree. Now. I mean, look, Coach K is going to have Jalen Johnson and all of his recruits ready and playing well come March Madness time. But early season, Duke hasn't covered a game. They're 0-4 so far. They're 2-2 straight up. Notre Dame 2-2 against the spread and straight up. I just think this is a very easy home spot to take the points, and the model backs it up. So we're going to go with it. So I guess for today's Wednesday, we have 3 against the spread dog picks. The model is 24-16 when you're betting the dog on any game we have in here. So that's good. We'll take that. The model is doing very well. So I guess that wraps up today's episode of the Cap Rack. We have 3 picks on the Toledo Marshall game at 6, the Pittsburgh Miami game at 6, and the Duke Notre Dame game at 9. Check us out on YouTube. The link is in the bio. Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you watch your podcast, listen to your podcast, we'll take it. But yeah, go check out the picks. There's going to be a blog up on the website. You can go check that out too. But yeah, we're going to keep the model going and give you picks every single day. So as for myself, Tyler Blumenstick, and Sam Meehan, we'll see you tomorrow morning or next time we decide to do an episode.